We are talking about Georgia football hypothetical scenarios. I'm going to make Clint choose between having a weaker opponent or having a stronger Georgia team. Which would be more advantageous to Georgia? That and more next on the Locked On Bulldogs podcast.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We are so glad you are here. Thanks for making us your first listen, and thank you to LinkedIn Jobs for being a title sponsor of today's episode. LinkedIn Jobs, hire like a professional. More on them in a second. Daniel mentioned it. We play this game, this or that. If you're a kid of the 90s, you know the song. You can get with this or you can get with that. You cannot have the other. It's really a choice in one marshmallow or two marshmallows, and how much self-control you have as you're a kid being tested by psychologists in a very stale room. No, this is not autobiographical. I'm not talking about wounds that I have from my past.
Okay. All right. Took a turn here on
y'all wonder how the Chili's got out of hand so quick?
Listen, he said he doesn't like being painted into a corner, makes him feel all kinds of things, and now we're starting to see it come out. All right. It's this or that. Simply put, we present two hypothetical options. Could be about anything, any aspect of Georgia's season. It won't be the same. We won't have the exact same one because that would be silly if we just asked each other the exact same question back and forth. So we certainly will come up with new and creative things to talk about in each of the segments. I'm going to start here, which I think will be different than the thing Clint will ask me about in segment 2. I'm going to say this, Clint. You can get with this, which is you get to choose one specific player on each of Georgia's opponents who does not play quarterback.
Okay, good.
To be suspended for the game that Georgia plays against them.
Great.
That is your first option. Okay.
Love this. Okay.
You get to make the choice. The roster is open to you, all non-quarterbacks.
Okay, great.
One game suspension. It just so happens to be the game that Georgia plays against. Or you can get with that, which is you can have any non-current NFL player from Georgia's past.
Okay.
Come back in their current form.
Okay.
And play the season with the Georgia Bulldogs, with and for the Georgia Bulldogs. So the only two criteria are that it has to be a non-current NFL player and that they are not their college self.
Yeah.
They are their grown man self, whoever it is, like however old they are, whoever they are. You get to, which could be an advantage in some cases, could be a severe disadvantage. Okay. So, those are your two choices. We either strengthen Georgia's roster with a presumably a great alumni.
Sure.
Or we diminish the roster of our opponents with not their most important player, but with a presumably important player.
Okay. Now, there's a number of Georgia players that are playing Canadian football that are not on active NFL rosters that I'm thinking could be talent-wise. But actually, the position that I would immediately go to just right away is actually quarterback. I would take a old look if old Deflategate can go out there at age 46 and play NFL, somebody can go ahead and lace him up again and come on out and play quarterback. And with quarterback, decision making is huge, is key, keeping care of the football. But Carson Beck is Carson Beck. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. It's incredible. Okay. Tight end, I'm thinking maybe like Isaac Nada, people like that who are not in the NFL. Okay. Yeah. But But Daniel,
you bring Ben Watson back?
Oh
you
my
tell me
gosh.
Ben Watson couldn't run over some fool right now?
I'm telling you right now, Ben Watson and that Chili's, you and I are not getting rambunctious because
he'd be icing them knees like big time after every game.
Yeah.
But I think he could still get out there and get something done.
100% could. I think he could. Plus, talk about like halftime with Ben Watson telling you to go get him in the second half.
Yeah.
But I'm going to get with this, and that is me handpicking one suspended player from every single Georgia opponent. It would bring me great joy, first of all, to just be able to be like, you done? Over there. So much pleasure to watch Sark infuriated that his entire game plan, because he can't make adjustments, is foiled by a 1-game suspension. Even better if it comes, Friday after walkthrough. If I get to do the timing of it as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that'd be perfect. But I think taking away Georgia's opponent's best non-quarterback player would be my choice. Did I choose correctly?
Yeah, I think that's the one I would have gone with. What if I had said this? What if I had said you could have any former Georgia player in their current form right now for 1 game, and it has to be a regular season game, versus every game you get to choose 1 player to sit out? So you get Roquan Smith or Nick Chubb. You get him for 1 game, though. Like you get him for the Texas game or the Alabama game.
I put Roquan Smith and I put him in Austin, and I say, screw you, burnt orange. You toast. You done. You're not getting past the 50. Have fun. That's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah, it that would have been maybe a more tempting choice. All right, we got more this or that. We're going to talk about more head-scratching scenarios with the Georgia football team. But first, these.
These are, in fact, LinkedIn. When you're hiring for a small business, you want to find quality professional candidates for the right role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn has the right tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. It helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else. Over 70% of people on LinkedIn aren't on other job sites. So if you're not on LinkedIn, you aren't finding the vast majority of talent acquisition and people you need for your team, as well as teams that need you. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. That is quick. That is easy. That is piece of cake. They know that small businesses are wearing so many hats, might not have the time or resources to hire. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even have just launched a new feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker. 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Man, I would love to see Roquan Smith, that number 3, come on back. Golly.
CJ Allen have to change numbers for 1 game?
CJ Allen, guess what?
CJ Allen may have to just lose his shirt for, like, you put the shoulder pads down. Maybe just take notes for a game.
Maybe just for Texas, you just watch. How about that? You just watch beauty in front of you. All right, Daniel, I'm going to give you a this or that involves conference realignment. Conference realignment is coming. It's happening. It's going to be here. We don't know.
What if I don't like it, though? Then will it stop?
Well, you can say that these recruits don't care about college football anymore. It's not what you're accustomed to.
They're just in it for the money.
And
unlike you at your job, when you do it just for the love of accounting, for the love of day trading. That's why you do your job.
Oh, you want to, and you're also encouraging your 18-year-old to maybe not go to college, but maybe get a job right away because they want to supply for themselves and get enough equity for a house. It's weird. That's just bizarre how that works. It doesn't matter. If you don't like it, guess what? Tough.
It's happening.
It's happening. Okay. So in this scenario, I'm going to create a world in which the Big Ten, SEC, and one other conference. I'm not quite sure what that conference is. It looks like the Big Ten is going to sustain maybe 12. Who knows
Big 12.
exactly?
It'll be the Big 12.
I think so as well. So let's say those three conferences are there. SEC, who's going to come in? Who's going to? I have no idea. We're getting right now. Texas, Oklahoma are in, but I'm going to say you can get with this, and that is you must add Ohio State to the SEC. So Big Ten and SEC are two conferences, and we're going to swap some people.
Okay.
You must receive in this swap Ohio State, Michigan, and Wisconsin.
Okay.
They're coming into the SEC, Daniel. Okay.
All right. I feel, yeah.
How you feeling so far about that thought of them coming in?
I mean, the fighting Fickles in the SEC, you love to see it.
This is what I'm saying.
You love to see it.
I'm glad you picked that up. You lose in this scenario out of the SEC. We're going to remove Alabama. We're going to remove Tennessee. And we're going to remove Ole Miss.
Okay.
Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, gone. We must take Minnesota, Ohio State.
No, Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
State, Michigan.
Yes.
Yep.
Michigan. That's this. Or you can get with that, which is we lose LSU, Florida, and Auburn. Okay. LSU, Florida, Auburn, gone. We gain Indiana, Rutgers, and Purdue.
I like that you included Florida with the Rutgers. Like that's the comp, which I respect the heck out of it. Okay. Let's just talk through some things.
Okay, go ahead.
If Georgia loses Florida from the conference, the rivalry's dead, and you're not going to see it played anymore. And that would be about as bad of a thing that could possibly happen to college football.
There you go.
Now, in the other scenario, I think, from a rankings and like quality of opponent perspective, the SEC takes a massive hit. And I'll tell you why, because right now, Michigan and Wisconsin are propped up. They always are highly ranked teams. Basically, you could have thrown Penn State in there as well. These are all teams that are just propped up by the quality of opponents that they get to play week in and week out. Meanwhile, you put Wisconsin up against a schedule in the SEC, and Wisconsin's not going to be a top 25 team.
No.
Michigan's not going to be a top 25 team. So you're giving up Alabama, who by the way is Nick Saban still coaching in Alabama in this scenario, or
no, not in this scenario,
or in any scenario? You're giving up Alabama, you're giving up Tennessee, and you're giving up Ole Miss. You're getting Ohio State, and that's really it. But to me, that's more of an even trade, because in reality, all offense to Tennessee,
literally,
Ole Miss is nothing, and Tennessee is also not a lot.
I mean, we enjoy playing against them. There's some fun fandom and some fun experiences and memories of that, and some coaching.
Yeah. But if you had to choose between losing Florida and losing Tennessee, I can't imagine that there's a Georgia. I mean, I live in Tennessee, and I still would 1,000 times rather play Florida every year than play Tennessee every year. So I'll take this. I'll take the first scenario, because I think you're really, in terms of quality of opponent, it's a 1-for-1 trade because you're trading Alabama for Ohio State. These are two, I don't expect Alabama to go anywhere.
Nope.
All joking aside about, DeBoer and the hire and all that. I don't expect Alabama to go anywhere. Ohio State's certainly not going to go anywhere. And so you're losing an elite team. You're gaining an elite team. Georgia's still going to have that. And you still maintain rivalries with Auburn, with Florida. And you lose Alabama and Tennessee, but, that's all part of the thing. So I think that's the choice that I would make, only because, and in the other scenario, the SEC you're telling me we got Vandy and South Carolina and Indiana and Rutgers, and it just starts to get boring.
See, and this is, by the way, Big Ten fan who wants to puff. My boy did the right thing. He didn't want to become the Big Ten. See, he didn't want to become bottom feeders and only 2 teams at the top that fight it out. That's what y'all have. My boy said, let's make compelling games. Let's have
fun watching football. Yeah, let's have fun watching football. Make football fun again.
You made the right choice, Daniel, in totality. We're going to come back to this. Daniel's going to give me one more, but first, these. These are, in fact, FanDuel. FanDuel is fantastic. We love them. You should love them. They're the official place to go ahead and use all your hard-earned cash on sportsbook. Summertime means baseball, the NBA Finals, and more. You can bet it all on FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $200. You can use a bet on everything from the NBA Finals MVP, who's going to hit one out of the park, FanDuel.com/LockedOnCollege, and add a big win to your summer bucket list. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Daniel and I are going to have a whole episode on futures, and it's going to be glorious. And we use FanDuel. You should too. The official sportsbook of Locked On Bulldogs. FanDuel, #1 sportsbook. All right. I hit you with conference realignment. You're going to hit me to finish off with the 199, who we love dearly. You're literally why we do this podcast. So in front of God, the 199, everybody.
Yep.
What else do you got for this or that?
The 199 knows that for us, watching college football games is an art form. It is something that you take very seriously. Okay.
If I ask you how you're going to watch the game and you haven't put more than 2 hours of thought into it,
if you say, "Oh, I don't know. Do you want to come over?"
I'll probably run to the store real quick and grab a bag of something and some groceries. We'll have something together. We'll hang out.
You ever have that Totino's dip out of the jar? You ever eat some of that? Is that?
Oh, it's funny. I got the calendar. I didn't realize I had this. I'm so sorry. I'm out of town. I'm out of the country. I'm moving to.
I'm not friends with you anymore. So that settles that. I don't have to. All right. It's an art form.
It is.
Okay. I'm going to give you 2 scenarios. In scenario A, you are attending every game in person this year.
Every game in person. Okay.
I don't want you to think about travel costs or anything like that. I don't factor that in. We're just saying you're attending every game in person.
I get to the game. I have a genie. I wake up. I'm at the game. Great.
You're at the game. You have a ticket. In scenario B, you're attending no games in person. Okay, so those are sort of the prerequisites for the scenarios.
Okay. Starting strong.
You can get with this scenario A. You attend every game in person.
Great.
And every single game, for a different reason, you are exactly 42 minutes after kickoff arriving to the stadium.
And
it is always for an out of your hands. You didn't one time maybe you overslept. One time maybe the Uber got in a fender bender.
Okay.
To the stadium, whatever it was. It's a different scenario every time, but you're 42 minutes late attending.
We got a whole world of Murphy Law
descended upon you.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Scenario B, you're watching every game at home.
Great. Okay.
Okay. And midway through the second quarter.
No, I don't like anything that you're leading up to right now.
Your wife has 3 friends come
over
to the house, and they want to talk to the 2 of you about something that's going on, that they are just, maybe it's just like they want to invite you on a trip. Maybe they've got something going on and they need some advice.
How long do they stay?
That's up to you.
No.
But you have to deal with the situation. And that's why I make sure that I'm clear about this. These are your wife's close friends.
Yeah, no, that's key.
And they specifically want you to be involved in this conversation. It's important to us that both Mr. and Mrs. are present for the conversation. And you're able to deal with that midway through the second quarter.
Okay.
That happens, and you deal with it as you see fit. And move on from there.
All right. I'm gonna this has got me up in my feels. 199. Daniel has got me in my feels.
Painted him right back in that corner.
All right.
He's just about to start swinging.
I don't even care who's in front of me. I'm gonna talk openly and candidly.
Sure.
Right. I have every belief and confidence in the world that I can navigate the conversation with the wife's 3 friends real well, artfully and tactfully. But here's the cost of that.
You're a pros pro.
I'm a pros pro, but the cost is my energy bar has gone all the way down, depleted to 1.
No, we're not in any sort of a shape to get back after halftime and resume this activity.
I'm not mentally or emotionally well. No. On top of a mentally and emotionally exhausting experience watching Georgia football.
And this happens every week, Clint. Every dadgum week. So it's playing with fire because there's a real chance. Divorce in this scenario is real high. Divorce in scenario A is almost a 0.
Yeah.
But in scenario B, it's by the old Miss game, okay? Like week 10, late in the year, key matchup against Old Miss.
I am either 3 whiskeys deep to start the second quarter to prepare for midway through, or I have taken up old Camelback smokes, just a pack before kickoff, just chain smoking up because the anxiety and the mental exhaustion is coming. I don't think that I could withstand somebody coming into my sphere that often in the middle of what is the best week, the best day of the week, every single week in the fall. My entire ability to remain mentally focused for the rest of the year depends on Saturdays in the fall going well.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. In scenario A, are they going well?
They're not going well, Daniel. I think the biggest outcome of this is I am on a Dateline special on either scenarios. I didn't hit a Vanderbilt fan.
He did not punch an elderly Vanderbilt fan. Let the record show.
I didn't. But in this scenario, somebody going down.
But
oh my gosh, Daniel, I've talked this entire time and I don't feel anywhere closer to decision on what you're giving me right now. I think the likeliest outcome of me not herniating a body part is actually in scenario. I actually think is scenario 2, in which
I did not factor in like that we were going to be talking about the most likely outcome to slip a disc is like which one? Like where do we?
Well, I'm just that Uber driver took the wrong turn. He was heading the opposite direction
to pick you up, and you see him on the map just take.
And I start losing it. Like, you guys have no understanding of how much people would be in peril if I am late to watch.
It's I mean, divorce is possible in scenario B. Homicide is possible in scenario A.
Jail time and then divorce is very high in scenario A.
Yeah.
I have to go scenario B. I can at least sit in my own sphere and navigate tactfully the Friends as I have it on in the background.
The level to which I would be infuriated and my whole day would be ruined in scenario A is it's incalculable. Like, it's not
I can't articulate that.
No. So, as miserable as it sounds, I do think you got to go with scenario B. That may be my favorite this or that of all time.
By the way, really quick, just in any of friends and family listening right now, we're laughing. We're laughing. It's because we're hiding reality. Okay?
Yeah.
We will cut you off of our lives if you ever did that.
No, we're not. I'll move and not tell you where I moved. Like, that's
your boys.
I won't think twice about it.
In 6 years' time, I think your boys have had guests at the house and they were exactly each other.
Yeah, those are the only guests. That's it.
This has been Locked On Bulldogs.
Stop needing me.
Stop needing me. This is Locked On Bulldogs by Locked On Podcast. Your team every single day. We'll be back later on talking about UGA football and basketball more. We'll see you guys then.
See you.